from a child, I wanted to know the truth, and I sought the truth. I even went to college thinking maybe the truth is in college. And this part of the stepping stone towards truth. So I got out of college, got saved, and then I dug into the Word. Had to figure out which preachers you could trust, which ones were the liars. After 40,000 sermons, I pretty much had my own sound doctrine and studying the Word the whole time. And I went through Revelation 8 times. I went through Revelation 8 times, verse by verse, word by word. This is before AI, way before. And a lot of it was before the internet took off, There was always that early internet. But the studying Revelation, he says, I can't remember exactly where it's at, but I don't know if it's chapters 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. 12. I don't think it's 12 because that's something talking about the woman being hid, and being chased by the devil. But it said, count up the mark of the beast, And that number 666. Well, 6 is 6 foot under. The average height is probably 6 foot or maybe a little bit less. So it's the number of man, right? I don't know what the average height is, but I don't know. When you look at all the nations of the world, it might be like 5'10", 5'11", something. But when you look at the number 6, you see 6 foot under. It's the letter F. F this, F you, F whatever. So the 6 represents the flesh mind. There's 6 sides to a cube. A cube is a box, the box life, right? A man's born from a box. Man lives in a box. Man drives a box car. Man's in a denominational box. Man is trapped in a box his whole life. And then when he dies and they put him in a box 6 foot under. A box that has 6 sides, 6 foot under. And while you're living, you're getting all your packages shipped via Amazon boxes, So the number 6 is the box life. 666, 6 sides. And also 6 is the flesh side. So the king of Tyre is the devil. And that's the king of the flesh. And so the devil wouldn't exist. He has no power except over the flesh. Now he's a defeated foe. Jesus went to the cross, rose again, destroyed the devil's works. And there's still people who want to worship Satan. Lucifer, Lucy Light. And when the movie Lucy came out, you could see all the excitement of the Gnostics and the Wiccans, They're obvious. I love Lucy. It's been here your whole life. 1928, the movie Metropolis. The ladies up there tied into the machine. They worship the machine, the 666 AI machine. Hexadecimal code, binary code, whatever kind of code. Notice that the 15-digit code is called hexadecimal, hex, Everybody's under the hex of the 666 flesh mind. In order to escape the flesh mind, you have to unfold the box. When you unfold the box, what do you see? You see a cross. And that cross points to Jesus, the Lamb slain before the foundation of the world. Now, why do they call him the Lamb slain? Because he's spotless. He's harmless. And if you yourself try to be kind and humble and you don't hurt anybody, you mind your own business, they're coming after you because the same game plays out. You can just be sitting there at your house, minding your own business, just chilling. You just sit here chilling, minding your own business, and somebody has to move in next door or across the street or somewhere else to try to steal your peace. Somebody might text you, or if you cut off all the agents, once you see somebody's an agent, you know what happens after that? Let me tell you what happens. They put your phone number on a call list or your email or whatever they have to harass you. If you're in peace, you got love, joy, peace, goodness, meekness, temperance, faith. You're sitting there in Galatians 5:22, and you're in peace. The ones in Galatians 5:19, 20, 21, which is the flesh mind, which is Wally Cody, the drinking, the drugging, the gallivanting around, running from house to house, speaking things they ought not. They've already turned aside unto Satan. They have to come after you, because Wally Cody chases Roadrunner, and if one you block, they try to pretend to not be that, but once you break through it and you see what they are, you block them or you cut them off. I don't really, well, I won't even say that. Never mind. You have to be careful what you say sometimes. So Wally Cody's chasing Roadrunner. When you realize it and you cut them off and you don't have anything to do with them, they have to send new agents. They're trying to harass you. So it's a devil system. So the 666 religious system, the box life, the Gentiles, like I say, the holidays are a mockery of the holy days. I gotta celebrate Christmas. If I don't, I'm gonna be sad. I gotta buy this. If I don't buy this, I'm gonna be sad. I gotta go to the hockey game. I gotta go to the football game. I gotta watch the Super Bowl. Well, you watched it last year. It just repeats. That ought to be a sign. I saw that when I was younger, I thought. We went to the hockey game. When I was a kid, my dad took me to the hockey game a few times. And every time we went back, I looked around at all the people in the state and I thought, this is just the same game as last week. Why are people coming to the hockey game? Why do people go to football games? Why do they go to games? It's just the red versus blue. Why? I mean, I saw it as a child. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I said, this is just a repeat. I didn't know that life was just a repeat down here. It's really just a worship service. You either worship the flesh or you worship God. You worship the creation or the creator. They have to send an agent into your world to try to pull you in. They want to steal, kill, and destroy, but at the same time, you as a spotless lamb, and I'm not saying you're sin-free because nobody's perfect, but I'm saying if your heart is right, if your heart is towards the truth, your heart is towards agape love, you love your neighbors yourself, you love your enemy. If they see that in you, they hate that because they don't have it. They want to spoil it, you know. It's really not about the money. It's about trying to destroy your heart. They don't care about money. They'll steal from anybody. But if they attack and target you, it's trying to steal your peace, your love, your joy, your contentment, and your love for humanity, you know. Because God went to the cross. He loves humanity. Even though they hate you and they hate themselves, you still can love humanity. Even though they're upside down and evil. It's a trip. I played this game a long time, and I'm going to tell you what's going on. There's a 666 cult. They don't even know they're in the 666. Let me tell you what's going on. Let me just tell you. I better roll my window up first. Let me tell you what's going on. 1 second. All right, so here's what's going on. Because you're raised in a quote-unquote Christian nation, there's this social Jesus that everybody says, yeah, I believe in Jesus. And then there's the real Jesus of the Bible. And the social Jesus, everybody's accept that. You know, they'll give you a hug and say, good to see you. But when you really talk about the real Jesus of the Bible, then they hate you. Because if you don't run with them to the same excess of riot, they hate you, speaking evil of you, right? You don't go drinking with them. You don't go partying with them. You don't believe their lies. You don't believe their stupidity, their junk, or whatever. Their false teaching, their false doctrine, doctrines of demons, doctrines of devil, doctrines of devils. When you really start to stand up and you say, wait a minute, the Bible's the truth. There's order in the home. Wives, submit to your husbands. Shamefacedness, not a bunch of fancy clothes and fancy earrings, but humility of heart. And be keepers at home. Yeah, a woman can work, but her main focus is her home, you know. Being at home as a helpmeet suitable. But everything's upside down. And when you start talking about straight up biblical order in the home, order on the job, everybody's going against it. And everybody's mad about it. There's no workers. Nobody wants to work. Well, it's your fault. If you take away the Bible, it was your fault because you don't believe the Bible. You take away the Bible, the whole foundation crumbles. So nobody wants to work. Everybody's lazy and everybody wants to do whatever. That wood's been there forever. Some lady lives there. And I guess she's don't have an axe. I feel sorry for people that really think that they can make it without a normal. See, here's the thing. You're in this society, and everybody has believed the social Christianity, the Christianity that's like socially accepted. But the real Christianity is not socially accepted at all. At all. The Christianity that says from the Bible that there's going to be people burning in hell, they don't want to hear that. The Christianity that says there's order in the home, they don't want to hear that. The Christianity that from the Bible that says take up your cross, they don't want to hear that. The Christianity that says, from the Bible that says, let him that stole steal no more, but labor with his hands, which is good in order to help those in need. They don't want to hear that. They just want to get on their SNAP benefits and just be lazy at the house and get some baby daddies, and they just get paid to exist. And they're really not even training their children up in the Bible. They're training them up under a Jezebel spirit. And so when the Bible talks about how evil Jezebel is, the biblical Christianity says Jezebel's evil, but the social Christianity, or the social Jesus that they made up, says Jezebel's the top dog. The world loves the twerking, the Jezebel that twerks online. If you look at that word, it means twisted. Their spirit is twisted. Their mind is twisted. Everything about them, their heart is a twisted heart. They're not dependable. They're not loyal. The Jesus of the Bible says you're loyal. You're dependable. You keep your word. The social Jesus says you can run the streets and play the harlot, you know. And there's nothing new. It's always been here. Gomer and Hosea. Gomer kept going back to the streets and became a slave, and Hosea had to bail her out of slavery. She has no discipline. She has no knowledge, no wisdom. She makes bad decisions. She's always running the streets. She's making rash decisions. She don't know how to spend her money. She knows how to spend it, but she don't know how to save it and invest it, you know. Somebody put up a little an awning over that house. That is the deal right there. I'm about to buy one of those. Put them over your windows and your doors. That's cool. I took some time off. You could call it a sabbatical if you want to. I took a year and a half off. I mean, I worked a job the whole time. But let's see, last July was a year where I was just chilling. July, August, September, October. July, August, September, October. A year and 3 months. I took a year and 3 months off of like my normal workload, you know. I started back on it, and then you know, what happens is you get these downloads, these downloads about how this place is working, and you go like, okay, I need to be just meditating for a while. And so I get a download, and I just go into like meditation mode. It's like, okay, I want to put all the puzzle pieces together. And that video I did yesterday, put all the puzzle pieces together for somebody. I put it on my website. Actually, this weekend, I've been working on figuring out how to make my website faster. You can take Apache. Sounds weird saying it. Apache. It's Apache. So I take Apache, and you can actually take your website, and I used AI to do it. You can take your server, and you can have Apache create like it'll hold it for 1 hour and to delete it. The cache is stored in Apache, and so when somebody visits the website, it stores it in the cache for an hour, and it makes it load faster for the next person. And so the website should be loading faster now. Before it took forever to load, but now it's stored in the cache on the server software. Whenever you want to do something, you take and you need to get back in the flow, you take incremental steps. So like right now, I'm walking around the block. So then I'm gonna get my bicycle out this week because I'm on vacation. I'm gonna start riding the bicycle, and I'm gonna do some ride share and start to build that back up. And so buy some more supplies for the remodel, and just keep on flowing. They can't stop you. You can't bind the strong man unless you get over the strong man's threshold, right? The Bible says they want to bind the strong man, but they can't bind him unless they cross the threshold. So they want to get in your house. They want to get in your mind, your heart, your spirit. But when you see what the jig is up, right? When you see the game that they were playing, they can't deceive you. Even if you believed a little bit of what they're saying, and even if you thought you could fix them, even if you thought you could help them, even if you had a little inkling that maybe I can tell them the truth and they'll get right, you still know deep down in the back of your mind, you knew that you couldn't fix them. They're going to have to go to God. They're actually going to have a dark night of the soul, or a tower moment, or whatever you want to call it. There's going to have to be a crash in their life that's so bad that they cry out to Jesus, the real Jesus, and the biblical Jesus, and not some kind of social Jesus. And so you want to help them. But you can't. Sometimes you're going to have to say, well, this is not AI. Because you never know what AI is going to do. This is real. AI can mimic you and everything under the sun, right? This is not AI, people. This is the real deal. There's going to be a point in history, and it's happening now. They're going to use AI to confuse people even more, just like the social Jesus that they put out there. They're going to use AI to confuse people more. So many people are deceived right now with the false gospels, the false books, the false Bibles. I mean, why not just stick with the Bible? This nation was started based on the Bible. And look where it ended up. Now, when they're getting away from the Bible, they're destroying the nation. I don't know what happened to this guy. I don't know if he went in a nursing home or what, but he was an evil dude. I talked to him one time. I never went back over there. Pure evil. It was all about money. And he said, when I was young, I made all this money. He was proud because he made all that money and chased girls. Well, did you win any souls, man? You know, when I talk to these people from now on, that was like 10 years ago I talked to him. When I talk to these people from now on, say, have you won any souls? Have you told people about Jesus? Have you told people how to be saved? Have you reached anybody with the gospel that Jesus alone saves? It's to the point now where my ear gate is tuned, if you want to use the word homed in or tuned in, HONED, or tuned in, TUNE. My ear gate is tuned in, looking for a witch or a Gnostic or a Bible hater or somebody who hates the absolute truth. And when I hear enough from that person to know that they're pretty much sold out to the lies of the devil, I'm done. What's that saying, one and done? When somebody says I'm one and done, that's pretty painful. If anybody's ever said it to you, it's pretty painful. But you got to get to that point when you realize they hate the Bible. You got to get to that point where you're one and done. I didn't even know what that meant till about a year or two ago. Somebody said it, and I went to work. I said, one of my friends in the email, she said she's one and done. What does that mean? I could have Googled it or AI'd it, but at the time I just was thinking about it while I was at work. That means she's done. What do you mean? She's just a friend. Why would she say something that stupid? Now I'm one and done with them, because if they're witches or Gnostics or straddling the fence, well, there's other books. I'm one and done with them. I was just doing like a reverse psyop, I guess. I wasn't meaning to. I was trying to help them get saved, but the whole time I was like a spy. I guess they got offended because I speak the truth on the website, and they don't like it. They don't like it. Well, if you're a witch, be proud to be a witch. If you're a Gnostic, be proud of it. And if you're proud of it, let's debate. Let me prove you wrong. Because you ain't going to be able to debate it, because the truth is the truth. You love the lie, you know? You love the lie. So how you going to debate? If you love the lie and you got somebody who loves the truth, how you going to debate that person? You can't. Because the lies by their very nature are weak. The truth by its very nature is powerful. If you're living in truth and you're walking in truth, then they don't have a chance in Hades to twist the truth. If all you think about is the truth all day long, how are they going to defeat you? They can't. They can't defeat you. Every time I see like kids playing out in the yard, like trying to encroach over in my yard or whatever, I realize that's a sign. That's like that's a spiritual typology of the kids, the goats, playing in the yard. The goats trying to play in my front yard, whether it's online or whatever. The kids are trying to get in, which are the goats, you know. The whole thing is a type and shadow of deeper truth, you know, playing out all the time. They've lost. They have actually sent out one last ditch effort, and it's finished. I think they know they can't win now. If they try again, I'll be shocked. I'll be surprised.